Hi, today we'll talk about programming in our computer science lesson number 6, part 1. And you can see that I have the same chart that I had in the very first lesson, where we learned the architecture of the computer. If you remember, we had the input, output, CPU, and memory. And the reason I'm going back to that is because today's lesson will be more of concepts of programming. We're almost ready to write our first program, but first we have to learn a few things about the idea of what is programming and how it's being done on a computer. So in order to do that, we have to concentrate today on the part that's called the memory. And if you remember, I said that the memory looks like a sheet of paper here, and right now we don't describe the physical way the memory looks like, but only what will reside in the memory. So one of the things that will have to be loaded into the memory is a program that the computer will execute. Now, what is a program? A program is a set of instructions that allows us to perform some kind of action and hopefully get some useful results. So if you remember the definition of algorithm, we also said a set of instructions. So what's the difference between an algorithm and a program? An algorithm is a way to describe the actions that are going to take place. And an algorithm could be something general that is given to a person, that is given to a machine. And the way the algorithm works is we just wrote instructions in English. So whoever understands English could understand those instructions and execute them. Now, when we're talking about a computer program, we have to write instructions in a way that the computer understands. So we don't know yet how to write those instructions, but the similarity between algorithm and program is when you know how to solve a problem, like the problem that we had with the 9 balls, for example, to find a heavier ball. Once you know how to solve it and you write the algorithm for it, then it's easy to translate from the algorithm to a programming language and write a program that the computer understands and find the solution via the computer. So for now, we'll just say that when you write a program and you want the program to run, we say run on the computer, meaning execute on the computer, it has to be loaded into the memory. So we don't deal yet with where it's loading it from and how it's loading it, but all we're saying now is that the program has to be loaded somewhere inside the memory in order for the computer to execute it. Okay, so if you remember, we had those shapes. This one means instruction, this one means print, this one means a question for which the answer is yes or no. This means the start and the end. This is a connector, and this is a control flow. And if you remember, the control flow was always from the top to the bottom. And normally in programming, the control also flows from the first instruction, which is written on the top, to the last instruction that's written on the bottom. So this flow of control will be similar in a program. Now let's learn a few concepts of programming before we're ready to actually write a program. And when I say programming, I'm talking about in general but programming is something that we can do in different types of languages. So today I will not go into a specific language, but in part 2 of this lesson we'll start writing a program in a specific language. And there are many computer programming languages, and some of them are general purpose, meaning they can do all sort of things, and others are more specific to certain type of problems. What we will learn is, in the beginning, we will learn a general purpose programming language, but we'll talk about it more in part 2. For now, let's concentrate on 3 simple terms that I can explain already. And one term is called a variable. A variable, you can look at it as a cell of memory or chunk of memory that has some sort of value. And usually a variable is symbolized as a letter. So it could be the letter X, it could be the letter A, or it could be several letters, but for now that's enough. So let's say a variable X is something that can contain some value, and it can contain different values at different time. So that's why it's called variable, because it varies. One time X could be equal to 1, next time X could be equal to 10, and we'll see how we use variables very soon. Another concept is the if. If statement in programming, or the condition statement, is equivalent to our diamond. Remember, the diamond was sort of if balls 1, 2, 3 are heavier than balls 4, 5, 6. So the if statement in programming is equivalent to the diamond in the flow chart of the algorithm. And one more concept, it's called a loop. A loop is sort of repeating the same thing over and over, and this is a very important concept in programming, because once you write a chunk of computer program language and you want to execute that chunk over and over again, let's say you wrote few statements here of a programming language, and you call this program A, for instance. If you want to execute this section 3, 4 times, 10 times, you don't have to write it again, but we'll see a mechanism in which we can say, okay, in the program, go after you finish this, and this, go back and execute them again. And the computer will execute them one by one from top to bottom, the same control flow, and then again and again until we tell it to end the loop. So we will see how to write a loop, how to start it, and how to end it. And with this, I will finish this part, which is part 1. And in part 2, we'll describe an algorithm, a simple algorithm with a flowchart, and we'll write a program that will be equivalent to that algorithm. So that's it for now.